Welcome back to Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast. I am one of your hosts, Benny, and with me, as always, our lovely and talented redheaded co-host,
Heath.
That's the
I'm just gonna
one.
leave it at that this time. I'm just waiting for those. I'm like, how much is Benny gonna try and hype me up this week?
Well, you know what I didn't do this week? I didn't go and buy a booster pack.
Oh,
I
there's
didn't
no
do that.
drafting today. Oh,
I was completely forgetting about
I
it
can
until
make up a fake one out of my draft cards.
oh, yeah, it was
I opened a pack.
It was something that I completely forgot about, actually, until I hit the record button and I went, oh, remember last week when you pulled nothing but garbage? Yeah.
I mean, they're all still in order. I could just pull what was the top packs worth of cards here.
Early pack break. Let's see what you got.
Well, let's see. This was let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, this was... I won a draft on the weekend, and so I just literally cracked the packs and stuck them on my desk. All right,
Fair enough.
Let's see here. All right, so... True story. This is actual pack. There's not much in here, so why would I do otherwise? All right. So I got Freckles here. He's fine, but relatively unplayable. Cheshire Cat, solid in most sets. I would say not terribly exciting, but with no removal. Cheshire Cat, the fact that he's inkable, I would say he's the top pick so far. Bolt, probably the best Bolt. Sadly. Yes, the 5-drop's fine, but probably the best Bolt in the set. I'd still say below Cheshire Cat, though, so I'll stick with that. Queen of Hearts, 2 drops in this set, not very good. She's proven a lot more annoying than I thought she was going to be, but still, I don't love a 2-cost 1/4, even though she's the best of those. I'd still say below Cheshire Cat, but it depends. This is pick one, pack one, Cheshire Cat. If you're low on 2 drops since later in the draft, I would say. I mean, this is
That's
the one.
Yeah.
This is definitely... one of my favorite commons. Yes, I was going to say it is common, right? One of my favorite commons in the set. Great art, great reveal, Red Rose, and great card. Love to draw a card. I had someone that was doing a draft. Okay, so I'm going to shout someone out at the same time as critiquing them. So if you're interested in Limited in Lorcana, there's a channel that is relatively new, but has kind of been under the radar for a while. I think they're only at like 26 subscribers on YouTube, but it's specifically Lorcana Limited. Just search up Lorcana Limited, you'll find them. And they're doing drafts themselves, I guess you could call it live drafts, on one of the various softwares that shall not be named. Anyways, they go through their own draft. Great. It's against an AI. It's against a computer. And they passed a Bucky, I think 5th pick or something like that with a whole bunch of garbage left in the pack. I'm like, what are you doing? Bucky is so good. So shout out to Limited Lorcana. Keep doing great work. Definitely must be a labor of love because there's some growth potential there. If you ever want to partner up, hit me up. Dr. Calico, solid. I have experienced sick with Mushu. Still not good enough, I think, to bypass Cheshire Cat, but getting closer. All right, we got one to bypass. Oh, no, Bucky. Sorry, Bucky was the next one. My apologies. Bucky is the top.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay, it still passes Cheshire Cat, but it doesn't pass Bucky. All right, Restoring the Heart. I just realized, am I on Mirror? I'm probably reading this all backwards. Hope you'll recognize the art, because you're probably not reading the text.
I know what it says.
To me. Restoring the Heart, very solid. Obviously not something you're going to want to play in turn 1, but it can help you out, especially if you're trying to play a more controlling game. You got bodies out there you want to heal, and you get some card draw out of it. Still not as good as Bucky. So very good, but not as good as Bucky. Moana, you need to have evasive control in your limited decks. If you don't, Moana goes up in value. I still think Bucky's better. So pick one, pack one. I'm picking Bucky. But if you're in pack 3 and you don't have evasives or ways to control evasives yet, this has to spike way up. Speaking of which, amazing evasive. This beats Bucky. This is a bomb in this set, especially when, pretty much the only other evasives that matter are better than her. Diablo's about the only one that's going to take this out that you're all that worried about. And Moana, I guess, but it's a 4 cost. So if Fidget's taking this out, if Pascal's taking this out, you're happy with that. So otherwise, assuming they don't have those, you're wrecking face with her support. So Perla is like an A in this. Diamond is hot garbage. Yzma is way too expensive and way too risky. I had someone play this against me, and it did not go as they hoped. You'll see that on my next video. And our foil here is Treasure Guardian, is also pretty much a D. So definitely a really solid draft pack, actually. If I had to choose between Perla and Bucky, I'd be sad, but I would definitely choose Perla. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Hey, we're getting it out of the way early.
Fine by me. I guess I also didn't want to really buy a pack for this because if you're not part of the Discord, I used up all my luck last Tuesday. I went into Tombkeeper Games in Mission. I always talk about Tombkeeper. Shout out Tombkeeper. Shout out Mikey. And I said, you know what? Give me 2 packs before I start League tonight. And I just had to pull.
Oh, the beautiful boy.
Donald.
Yeah, oof, you can't see that
glare.
at all. That is
the glare.
We
the
need
absolute.
We need to get you a better camera. He's give him a break, folks. He's used to just recording podcasts. He's not used to.
It was podcasts and Twitch. That's all I'm used to. One day, I'm working on it. I got a camera here.
It is a beautiful baby. Look up if you can't quite see it. Look up the Donald Duck Enchanted.
It is gorgeous.
Congratulations.
And, I mean, if you want to see it, just go join our Discord. I mean,
you could do that. You could join the Discord. I haven't opened any enchanted stuff. The streak remains.
What, one of these, like a bolt,
that one or that one,
another
or
bolt,
that one. Yep.
a Donald. And you know what? I put them all up for trade or for sale, and I've had one decent hit. The other hits were, can I give you the Wall Enchanted? Can I give you Devil's Eye Diamond Enchanted?
Okay, you gotta stop shilling your cards on here, man.
I would trade anybody. If somebody is a listener and they're like, hey, I live down in the States. I want that bolt. The only thing I don't want is these $15 Floodborn or Into the Inkland box. No, Into the Inkland boxes you guys are getting.
Hey, I'll take 3. If you want to trade 3 Inklands boxes.
Say if you want to send up like
selling your cards.
4 Inklands boxes, deal. Yeah.
If anyone would like to trade me for Stitch, no, just kidding.
I'll trade you
I'm kidding. No,
I'll trade you
not. I refuse. Oh my gosh. Okay. Should we talk about some news?
Yeah. There apparently was some event that I did not catch that a lot of people have been talking about.
First of all, there was a lot of events lately. But yes, there was a CCS. What was this? A 5 case? Gosh, they've got so many tournaments that's hard to keep track of all the myriad prizing. Suffice to say, if you're anywhere near CCS, they do amazing tournaments all the time, it seems like. So props to them. But yes, there was a tournament. They did some live streaming of it. Picked up quite a few games myself. It was awesome to watch. Lots of great content. But unfortunately, there was another quote-unquote scandal caught on there, which I think is definitely a lot more gray, question mark, than some of the others that have come up. Specifically, and I'm not going to name names because it's so gray. If you want specifics, go on Twitter. But it was an opponent of Zan Syed. I can't remember which round it was. I think it was round 5 or something like that. Doesn't matter. Anyways, my wife was telling me to be quiet. If you can't tell on here, I'm very loud. Also, I should say, I just took a shower, so I'm just going to keep getting fuzzier as the video goes on. All right. So the person casts Wheel, casts a whole new world, right? And draws 8 cards. Doesn't look good. And specifically, like, piles them out, like I think like 6 and 2 or something. I don't know. Anyways, piles them out, has flicked through their cards enough times, and also played, I believe, 3 cards after the wheel. That it's kind of hard to buy that they didn't notice. So Zan called a judge, or more specifically, Zan asked for a count after they passed their turn, and determined that there was 5 cards left in hand when they played 3 cards post A Whole New World, and called the judge. The judge issued them a warning, resolved. I think they put 1 card back at random or something like that. Doesn't really matter about that, but the big thing is issued them a warning. No game loss or anything like that, just a warning, which is technically what the rules say. Which is kind of, I think, the main argument here is, should the rules be that lenient? Because they're trying to cultivate a more casual player. I think they wrote the rules a little bit more leniently than they were maybe prepared to handle in a more competitive environment, a more competitive field. But I think the main point of contention is that Zen was calling out on Twitter, quite frankly, that they don't buy that the person didn't know they had 8 cards in hand at some point. In the kind of many points, they identified, I think, 3 key points where they should have been able to identify that they had 8 cards in hand. Now, to be kind of on the other side of the argument, you could say that it's a high stakes game. You've got Zen Syed sitting across from you, which is probably super stressful, and you're trying to think, how do I get out of this situation, maybe, or how do I actually close out a game against this monster sitting across from me? So I could see a world where they were so kind of caught up in it that they were just kind of blurry-eyed almost doing their thing, trying to do all the permutations and what's the right line and all that. But it is a little hard to see that many times where they're kind of flicking through their cards and they've stacked out the cards for the wheel to begin with and all that. It's just ugly. It's just unfortunate. You hope that it, was an accident and that there's learning from there to just be more careful. But I can imagine also that it's starting to get a little bit tough to keep accepting dubious actions during these marquee events. It's tough. What do you think?
So I didn't see any of it, but I know that there's got to be somebody out there who watched exactly what the 8th card that went on the table was when he threw the 8 cards down, and he probably that person also probably watched them shuffle their cards around, and I bet you that person could tell you if the 8th card was one of the 3 that was played. To let you know.
Yeah, so he stacks the cards down to begin with, so it's not like he was fishing for a particular card and counted to 8 to get that card. But yes, that doesn't mean that he didn't take advantage of potentially that the 8th card was one of the ones played, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know myself, I've done the same thing where I just quickly throw a couple cards out and I'm like, that's 7. And then before I grab it, I spread them out and I go, oh, you know what? That's 8. And I don't look at them. It's still face down on the table. And I go, this was the 8th card, if you believe me. And they're like, yeah, you put them down in a stack. It's easy to see when you fan them out that was definitely the 8th. And then I just put that on the top of the deck. But I mean, I've done it once or twice, and that's at like League. Yeah. I don't think I've done it in set champs.
So if this ever happens to you, by the way, don't hold up the 8th card and say, like, if this, you really call the judge right away. Don't touch them. Just be like, hey, I accidentally dealt out 8 cards. This was the 8th card that I dealt out. What do you want me to do with it? Right? They will say to almost certainly to put that one back. Either if both parties are sure you haven't looked at it, they might put it back on top. They might put it randomly in the deck, whatever they choose to do. But just the second that you notice you did something wrong, just stop the game. Don't touch anything. Call a judge. Right? I think that way, there's no sense that you are taking advantage of the situation.
And I think that's actually the best thing anyone should do in any situation is if you've made a mistake, call a judge on yourself.
Yep.
And just say, hey, this is what happened. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And explain the whole situation. Don't just say like, hey, I dealt out 8. Yeah. And what do I do now? Like, be like, hey, I dealt out 8. This was the 8 because I stacked them.
Yeah.
Or fanned them out, because that's another thing I'll do. I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And just obviously try and be as transparent as you can.
Yep.
But mistakes do happen. Like you said, people get nervous. Mistakes do happen. But at the same time, in this game, I can't say for other games because I obviously was not a huge uh I was not a huge trading card game player. Like, yes, I played trading card games for a while, but I was not a huge competitive in other trading card game player. So mistakes do happen, but it seems like they're happening quite a lot.
Yeah,
And that's rough.
it is. Yeah, it's one of those things. All I can say is I think we've proven out now that although the rules are relatively lenient on potential cheating, that the community is pretty united in saying that's not something we want in this space.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the majority of us will give you the benefit of the doubt. If it looks like it's a mistake, it hasn't shown that this has been a common practice for you, like some others that we've addressed, that maybe you haven't played the game much, right? I don't know this person's melee history, but if all of these things kind of combine, let's give the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, be careful, right? Because if you are one of those that gets stressed out, gets anxious, first of all, think through that as well and how you can kind of try and avoid those feelings and deal with those feelings. But then, too, if you're aware that that's a possibility for you, just take all the more care. If you're going to these significant events, it's not league, it's not like even set champs. I wouldn't stress too much about that. Obviously, still be careful, but it's not going to be the same, stakes as a CCS tournament or certainly a DLC or something like that, right? Take your time. Don't slow play, but take your time, right? Make sure that you're, for me, because I had that happen a couple times as well, where I just kind of dumped cards on the table, pre or post mull, and had one too many cards in league. I recognized that I got to be slower and just like not necessarily count out one card at a time, but put out 4 or 5, and then be more cautious about the 6th and 7th, right?
Ethan League.
So, right,
One,
one.
two. As he's looking up at the timer, how much time do we have left in this set,
right?
champion?
How much time do I have to eat out of this round? Oh, is that 3? Yes, that's 3. Excellent.
Do you know what comes after 3? I didn't make it this far.
I gotta Google this. Hold on. Oh wait, no phones in it. Sorry. No phones at the table.
Judge, can you help me count past 3?
You cannot the 7, Judge. I just want to make sure that's 7, right? No, obviously not that. But yeah, just try and take a little bit of extra care than you might otherwise at league, just to try and avoid any such situations. So there's no question, right?
Yeah.
We've seen prominent players make mistakes on camera that could be considered cheating. There was a very prominent Pixelborn player. Oh, sorry. The software that shall not be named. That was wrong franchise. That was seen on camera in a major tournament early on. I think it was in set 1 even. That I personally believe wholeheartedly they made a mistake. But there's a few people that were saying, "Hey, that looks like cheating." It's like, not everything that could be cheating is cheating. You've got to look at the context. And I'm not saying that this person wasn't cheating. It's borderline, but I'm saying, mistakes can happen. People get caught up in the anxiety and the stress of the moment. And sometimes we've got to give people the benefit of the doubt if they haven't given us other reason to. Like I said, there isn't a history of this. There isn't all those things. So be cautious for yourself. Be cautious, being mindful of your opponent, but also don't get so stressed about, oh, is everybody cheating and I got to watch every single person with, microscopic detail. It's okay, right? The average Lorcana player is an amazing human being and wants to have a fair and great game with you, and just enjoy that. So, yeah. Should we talk about some of the other things going on in the competitive space?
I mean, this is all you.
Those many alphabets, all the alphabet.
I was say this is all you. I was checked out of Lorcana all weekend, and everyone's like, "Hey, did you see this tournament?" And I'm like,
It's official. The entire show is on my shoulders this week. Excellent, great. Get ready for disaster.
Have you met our host, Heath? Anyways, see you guys later.
Bye. No, it's like the what episode we had with Mikey where you just did, technically cut out for half the thing. And I had to be like, oh, I guess I'm the host now.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not
That's
come
what we
prepared
do.
for this. All right. So some of the other things, I think it's just awesome to kind of shout out occasionally some of the other cool things happening in the space. People doing hard work behind the scenes. Speaking of hard work, my goodness, Pavel with the LCCC, that's a tongue guy, but the Lorcana Cross-Continental Challenge, even though they're not really like challenging each other cross-continentally, but the challengers are all from cross continents. Some really cool stuff, some really great matches going on there. If you're not familiar with it, for me, the way I always find it is either on YouTube or on Twitter/X. So Pavel's, he's at Pavel Kolev 7. If you can put that in the show notes, on Twitter, on X. And he's posting all about it, but he's doing all this work behind the scenes. But also, we've got a ton of content creators that are doing, you just open a new window and you got very bright all of a sudden. We've got amazing content creators that are doing the casting for this. And I've really loved some of the casters, specifically JDZ or JDZ, because you're probably American, Quest, at JDZ Quest on X, on Twitter, has been doing some of my favorite casting, and some of his co-hosts. Really great work. Sometimes has technical difficulties, but don't we all? So forgive those. But just a really genuine person, great guests, and great casting. I mean, lots of other great casters as well. That's just the one that I want to shout out this time. Specifically, if you haven't watched any matches yet, Zen and Zach went head-to-head today. And that's a heck of a match. I haven't watched it yet. I recorded it. I'm excited to, or not record, well, I downloaded the recording of it. I'm excited to watch that on my commute to work tomorrow because I take transit, so I can watch a video on my commute to work. Don't worry. I'm not watching it on the side screen as I'm driving into work.
Yeah, not like me, right?
But if you want to watch some really competitive matches from some amazing people, and stakes enough because of the pride that's on the line, but also casual enough that everyone can have fun with it and it's kind of, laughing through it and having a good time. Great content. The other thing to shout out is the ICL was another one that I want to shout out, which thank you for correcting me on this because I always forget it's the Illumineer Champions League. Like I knew it was Illumineer something. Champions League, right? Like soccer, like football, right? So they're at Illumineer CL on Twitter/X. And specifically what I love about what they're doing, because they're doing team events, 3-on-3, individual matches, but kind of best 2 out of 3, which who wins 2 out of 3 matches to kind of win the series, as it were. So it's a team event, so that's cool. But what I love as well is they're highlighting some teams that maybe you haven't heard of or seen before, teams that wouldn't otherwise get kind of the same limelight that a Team Maelstrom or Forbidden Mountain might get, right? They're there as well. So you've got the marquee teams that you're used to, but also some teams that maybe you hadn't seen before. So just giving a pedestal, giving some of that limelight to some other great players. So again, you're going to see some competitive games, and you're going to see some people that maybe you haven't seen before and can gain a new appreciation of. And also lots of great casters there as well. I think if you're kind of craving some competitive games, you're maybe struggling with your own, leagues kind of looking the same every week. There's no DLCs on. Where can I get my fix for kind of diverse Lorcana? These are a couple of great outlets for that. So
yeah, if only there was some sort of DLC or some sort of event similar to DLC. Something
like
that like
a worldwide event.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that like involve like people from like European places and maybe like Japan and Australia and China and North America. That'd be pretty cool. Where would we get something like that? What would we even call that? Interesting. And where would they even host something like that?
Who could think? I mean, it's a worldly thing. So, what about Disney World?
What about Disney Land?
No. Yes, that would be nice. Just so you know, I talked Benny down from beating the dead horse of talking about how we don't have worlds yet. We don't have all these things that we should be getting. Yes, we should, but it's okay. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy doing what we're doing, Benny. Let's enjoy the moment of set 7 and nothing but Sapphire Steel. CCS specifically, I believe it was a nearly 50% meta between the two different Sapphire Steel builds.
Yeah.
So that was great.
I was talking to somebody about it today, and I was like, I've heard that there's an Amber Steel that's pretty decent. I haven't bothered looking into it, but from what I gather, I think it's just going to be Ruby Steel and Sapphire Steel, and who knows what the other one's going to be. There has to be a rock, paper, scissors, right? They always do that. They've tested these cards. Hamatoa, not tested. Calling it out.
I'm just saying, if there was ever a time to switch from constructed to limited, set 7.
Could it be now?
Yes. Hey, if you're like, this meta sucks, now's the time. Be like, we should do more draft. We should do more draft. Do more draft. Talk to your LGS. Do more draft.
Is this the time?
Now's the time.
The
right?
time is now.
If you're not digging this meta, if you're like, the only thing I've got to play for is set championships, and I could take up a constructed deck a couple weeks beforehand and do fine, just spend some time. That's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to build a constructed deck. I'm going to do some cube drafting. I'm going to do some Arcasia's Island drafting. And I'm just going to enjoy that for a bit and see where that takes me.
Actually, I did want to jump into another conversation here.
You're shilling your cards. I'm shilling my format. We're just shills.
That's all we are. But at least we're not corporate.
I mean, it could be worse. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying.
And also, to anyone who is watching right now, we did not mean to wear the same shirts again. He's like, this is the one shirt that I know he has the same as me. I'm going to wear it every time. I was actually kind of talking to a local the other day about this going back to my horse, about this lack of worlds.
And he's into the ground.
He said there's something that's kind of going on here, because around this time last year is when DLCs were announced.
Yeah.
So that people knew when to book off time. So does that mean we're not getting DLCs this year either, or what's going on with that? Because I know personally, I'd kind of like to book some time for Seattle again, because I had a great time with my friends.
Yeah.
Would love to do it again.
Just maybe not this scooter next time.
Oh no, we're scootering. We all are scootering. And we're bringing more people to scooter this time.
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
I'm going to show up, just road rash everywhere. I'm ready to play my opponent.
You're bleeding on the cards, sir.
Actually, I guess that's the worst thing I could do, is get injured in America.
Yes, right?
As a Canadian.
Make sure you have good insurance.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, I'm just wondering, are we getting DLC this year? Because I would love to go to DLC this year.
So this time last year, they did announce DLCs, but I think they specifically only announced either 3 or 4 of them. I think 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they announced, what would that have been? Up to
Chicago, Texas, and Atlanta?
Vegas? No, Toronto. So Vegas
Toronto.
and Seattle hadn't been announced yet.
Okay.
So that was through to August. So September hadn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
That's not much time left in the year if we can kind of expect a similar timeline.
Yeah. And it's also rough because I keep getting emails from PPG.
Yeah, right. Here's
saying
all
like,
the
hey,
events happening in your area, but
right?
none of them are Lorcana.
Here's a Digimon event.
Digimon.
Here's a One Piece event.
Digimon.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Digimon? Okay, I guess I should start playing Digimon or One Piece to play events more?
So the counterpoint that you can say to that is when they announced the DLCs now, the first DLC that they announced for was in May, end of May. So it was really a 2-month spread. Mm-hmm. So they could still announce in the next month and still do like the last half of the year. It seems unlikely,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. When they said give us a little bit more time for the DLC schedule a month and a half ago, that seemed fair at the time. But to beat your dead horse into pulp, yes, every week and certainly every month that goes by, it seems more and more likely that they've just written off 2025. That we're going to maybe have Worlds at the end of the year and then start again in 2026.
Here's what we do. We just do one more year of DLCs, and then we invite all those people also to Worlds in 2026.
Here's one thing I'll tell you. They're not going to do Worlds in December because that's too popular a time for Disney World.
Yep.
So, but really, like from the fall onwards is really popular. Halloween time's really popular. Christmas time's really popular. So, yeah. Last 2 weeks of August is actually the quietest time.
You know how I know exactly what you're talking about? Because my wife recently said, can we go to Disneyland again this year? And I said, sure. When do you want to go?
What did she say?
She said, it seems like May would be a decently quiet time. And I went,
decently quiet?
Well, there's like one window in May that is not the grads nights.
Yeah.
And is not a busy event night. And she said, do you want to go in August? But we lose a bunch of time in that because of Halloween. And I said, that's true. Not a big fan that Halloween got extended all the way into August because they know it's a moneymaker.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks of August is about as quiet as it gets from like April through till first week of January. So specifically the 70th starts on May 16th. So if you're looking to go after then, it'll be super busy because of the 70th.
Yeah. So it's not really the busyness that bothers me so much as and I feel like you would understand this with your fiery red hair and your fine complexion. I am not a fan of the heat at all.
Yeah.
I am a person who usually, like, once it hits a certain temperature, I'm like, I gotta wear shorts for the rest of the year because I am going to die here.
You know what is the cure for hot weather in Disneyland?
What?
Just loop Pirates of the Caribbean over and over again. Except for the wait outside, obviously. But, okay, so you got half an hour outside, but then you've got a good time in the waiting area inside, and you've got a good time on boats, and it's okay.
Oh, I got one for you. The Little Mermaid. Loop the Little Mermaid with its 5-minute wait time.
Lineup. Yeah,
right.
That's
the
a fair
greatest.
Point. Except then you got to be on Little Mermaid again and again and again. Whereas I get to be on Pirates.
I'm fine with being on Little Mermaid because on like the second or third loop, I do one of these while all the kids are having a good time.
Yeah, it's like, can you guys be in the next car so I can just?
Dad just needs a nap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that deal with my wife this time around. I'll go, hey, you know what? You take them on one, and then I'll take them on one, and you can have your own car.
I like that deal. So yes, unfortunately, it seems like DLC 2025 might not be much of a thing, if at all. Which is why, let me reiterate, find what you love about the game and lean into that. And what you should love is draft. That's all I'm saying. That's the moral of today's story. Get into draft, love draft, and then you never have to worry about a DLC because there's no limited DLCs yet anyway.
Look at that. Episode over. We can close
done
that
and done, right? Wrapped up.
Actually, I picked up something today at Costco.
Oh, please don't tell me it's the pack. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's much better. Yes.
Yeah, I picked up the Villainous pack because, I mean, this is the one that comes with the Prince John exclusive.
You know, the middle one was on Amazon US for like $10 not too long ago, right?
You know, I bought 4 of them, right?
So you then bought another kit just to get the expansions?
So I bought these 4, but Mikey actually wants to start hosting Villainous tournaments.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Shout out to Mikey. That's another great thing that he'll have at the store soon.
Another reason why I get to be upset that he's like a 70-minute drive away from me.
No, you just hop on that train. It goes right outside his shop.
That's downtown. I'd have to hop on that train from work, and then how am I getting home after that?
I'll drive you home. I just got a commuter car.
You'll drive me home to White Rock before going home to Chilliwack.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on a Friday, I don't work Fridays.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like the worst thing imaginable.
But anyways, I already
But I'm
owned.
happy for you.
I already owned this the Wicked to the Core one,
Yeah.
and I own this one, but mine has like a misprint where the evil queen, not the evil queen, I can't remember. Anyways, it's all updated, so I'm kind of happy about that.
Oh.
And I don't think it's actually that one. It was the Queen of Hearts. So whatever one the Queen of Hearts is in, mine has a misprint on it where it doesn't say how many little, I call them lore points you gain. But I did not have this other one with Syndrome and Lotso and Madame Mim. So
nice. So it's like a Pixar. That. Well, I guess Mim isn't. So what's the theme of it then? If it's got Mim and Lotso in the same set, what's the theme?
I think it's called Bigger Badder. I don't remember.
So there isn't a theme. They're just like, okay, what other villains can we throw in there?
Yeah. And it even says on the back, introducing 2 Pixar villains. It's like, well, why don't you just make 3?
Yeah.
Just throw all of them.
There are other villains.
No, there's never been a villain in Pixar. All their movies are happy.
What else are we going to do? Pick another Pixar villain? No, it's got to be Mim.
What should we have done? Should we have picked Zurg, the guy who's been in Toy Story more times than anybody? No. Lotso.
Do you think maybe Ryan had something to do with them picking Mim? He's like infiltrating the rest of Ravensburger. He's like, Sword in the Stone.
Hey, you guys like Sword in the Stone?
Is the best movie in Disney history, according to Ryan.
You know what? I'm fine with that. It's one of my personal favorites. So, Ryan, notice me. Come on. It's one of my favorites as well.
Do you feel seen right now? Do you feel seen?
Oh,
meanwhile, no one else knew what the heck Sword in the Stone was, and you're like,
what?
Finally, my people. No, I did. I loved it. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like my go-to, and as soon as I started seeing Sword in the Stone characters come in, I was like, yes, about time. This is way better than Black Cauldron.
I feel like Archimedes is my spirit animal. He's snarky as heck on the outside, but you know that deep down he's got a good heart. That's
true.
Me. Except for the last part.
I feel like Merlin, if I have to choose a character to relate to. You know
who I relate to? That poor wolf. Man, all he wanted to do was have some lunch, and he just got put through the ringer. Poor guy.
I feel like the sword. I'm getting pulled in every direction.
Just rusty as... I was about to swear again. I'm going on the red list. All right.
But I absolutely love Villainous. So I was pretty stoked that I just said to, hey, Mikey, I'll just order one locally. But if you haven't ordered one from Costco, I know that our local Costco had the little asterisks of Doom, which
asterisks of Doom.
Yeah, it means that they won't be selling it there much longer. And then the price.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then the price ended with a 97, which meant that's already been discounted and it's not going to go down any lower.
We got the Costco tech in here. I do not know the Costco tricks, so.
Well, if you also don't know the
thank you for imparting your wisdom.
What is that called? The gift set that they have at Costco right now. The pack that
Into the Inklands, the we need to get rid of Into the Inklands boosters gift set.
Yeah, that also has the asterisks of Doom, so it should be going away. However, it does not have a price adjustment, so I don't know where those packs are going, but I want to find out.
To your local dollar store.
Because if they are at the local dollar store, guess who's going to be there picking them up and ripping packs? The guy who didn't learn his lesson last time.
I mean... all you need to open is one Strength of a Raging Fire and you're set.
Yeah. Actually, Mikey just opened a box. He split with Jeremiah, another local. And Jeremiah got the bad end of that stick, and Mikey ended up pulling a foil Strength of a Raging Fire.
That's like an enchanted these days.
Right? So I was like, well, I guess that's going up in the store pretty quick here.
Yeah. Oh, my apologies. Strength is Floodborn. I was thinking it's Inklands. So, nope, there's nothing to open in Inklands.
Yeah. So
Ursula,
they opened a Floodborn
Robin
box.
Hood. Yeah.
And Mikey definitely had the better stuff, but I'm like, oh, as soon as I saw the Strength of a Raging Fire, I said to him, oh, did you get an enchanted? He's like, pretty close. I was like, Wow,
Yeah.
that is
That
very close.
legitimately, like even Floodborne Enchanted, if you look at the enchanted prices, it's probably higher than half of them.
Also, can we start picking like the cards that people want for Flood or for Enchanteds?
Right? Please? Diamond?
Like, yeah, Devil's
Why?
Eye. I mean, the Tamatoa
Why?
hit. The Tamatoa made it.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
can
I've
somebody?
got the same argument about promos, about the
Yeah.
set chance promos. Like, why?
And can somebody actually make a deck where Bolt is really good? help me,
Please, so that I can
help me flog
increase
these.
shill till the last.
Always till the very end. Oh,
We're gonna have to rename this from the Overexerted podcast to the Please Buy Our Shit podcast.
please buy our stuff. Please buy our stuff.
Stuff. That's what I said. Obviously, you misheard me. I don't know what you're thinking. Dirty mind. No, I said stuff. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I have a 7-year-old child. Obviously, I don't swear at home.
Yeah. Obviously.
I'm definitely not the parent that the teacher is calling. Be like, do you know what your child said in class today?
Oh.
Anyways.
Yeah. I don't think there's too much to talk about. I am getting excited to go to League tomorrow night.
Hey, there you go. Get ready to play for some Sapphire Steel. Or talk
Play
to your
Sapphire
LGS.
Steel.
Talk to your LGS. Do some more drafts. Forget constructed. Just all drafts now.
Personally, I'd be fine
all
with that.
drafts.
Personally, I would be fine with that. I still need to fill up some 4s.
There you go.
So
there you go. Or you could build a cube. Or you could invite Heath to host a cube draft event at your local LGS. I am open to traveling for that. That I will travel for.
on Tuesday night?
No, maybe not. That's a tough one. If I ever have a Wednesday off for some reason, right? Please, boss, don't watch the podcast.
I think what I do is I just go in, and this is the big brain move. I just trade in the Donald and the Bolt tomorrow for a box, obviously.
Yeah, and then draft with it.
Exactly. Anyone who wants to draft, I'll be over here. And then nobody shows up, and it's just me opening packs by myself.
All by myself. All right.
I'm going to pass this one, and then I move to the seat next to it.
Yes.
Oh,
please do
bad move.
You need to film that. You need to film that, please.
This is for the pod.
Drafting by myself. Do it for the content. Do it for the memes.
Always. All right. Well, let's make this a nice early one.
Yep.
Have a good one. Thanks for joining us on this magical journey, and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, everywhere, all the fun stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.